Welcome to the CWEL Webinar. My name is Yvonne Ham and I will be talking about the CWEL Expense Reimbursement Guide along with some CWEL procedures. I will discuss forms and procedures that are required for the CWEL program along with material that is available for you to reference. Welcome to the CWEL Webinar. My name is Yvonne Ham. This is the CWEL website link. You will find the CWEL Student Handbook and also the CWEL Expense Reimbursement Guide here. Please read these manuals carefully and reference them throughout your time in the CWEL program. They will provide a lot of helpful information for you. Required forms for the CWEL program. The FERPA form, Agreement form, and W-9 form are forms that you received with your CWEL acceptance letter. These three forms are required before we can process any reimbursement or pay your tuition. You must sign the FERPA and Agreement forms and also have a witness signature to sign it as well. A witness signature is an adult who observes you signing the form. These two forms do require a witness signature. Regarding the W-9 form, the W-9 form is required by the university. You must complete the W-9 form in order to be set up in our university system so we can process your expense report. Please note that if you move or have a name change, you must complete a new W-9 form. Please mail all signed and completed forms to the CWEL department. The CWEL Online Student Information System. Here is the link to the CWEL Online Student Information System. This is where you enter your demographic information. If you have a change of address, phone, or change of email, you will update it in the Online Student Information System. Regarding your courses, every semester the CWEL program requires you to enter your courses in the Online Student Information System. The CWEL department will notify you by email every semester when it's time for you to enter your courses. Even if you are not taking any courses for a particular semester, you must still enter course information in the system. You just simply need to select No Courses. If you do not enter your courses every semester in the CWEL Online Student Information System, we will not be able to process any expense reimbursements or pay your tuition. Once you finish entering your courses, you will go to the next section to enter your detailed field information, which consists of your agency, scope, program, and population. Please provide your specific field information in that section. Here is a brief overview of what you will enter in the CWEL Online Student Information System. This is the time frame when the CWEL department will send you an email informing you to enter your courses and your detailed field information in the CWEL Online Student Information System. The Online Expense Report. I will now be talking about the new CWEL Online Expense Report System. Here is the link. The Expense Report System is found within the Student Information System. Now, before you are able to enter your expenses into the Expense Report System, the CWEL department must have received your completed FERPA, Agreement, and W-9 forms. You must also have entered your courses and detailed field information every semester in the CWEL Student Information System in order for you to be able to start entering your expenses in the Expense Report System. If you haven't completed all of the requirements, the system will give you an error message indicating what is still needed and will not let you start the expense report process. Expenses must be submitted on a monthly basis. The expense report process from the time you enter your expenses in the Online Expense Report System from the time a check is issued is a very lengthy process. Expense reports are carefully reviewed. They are circulated through the CWEL department for multiple reviews and approvals, and then they have a final approval through the university. Once this entire process is completed, the university will issue a check. The CWEL department has no control when the university issues checks. It takes approximately 6 weeks for the entire process, sometimes longer during holidays, high volumes of expense reports, or when the university is closed. The Online Expense Report. I will now be talking to you about the new CWEL Online Expense Report System. This is the link where you will find the Online Student Expense Report System. Book and Supply Allowance Information. Regarding book and supply allowance, you have $100 towards books and/or supplies for each social work course taken during a semester. Field work and prereq classes do not qualify. The new Online Expense Report System will automatically keep track of your allowance. You will be able to see the amount you were eligible for, the amount you used, and what your remaining balance is. Here are some examples of non-reimbursable and reimbursable expenses for you to reference. Here are examples of some non-reimbursable and reimbursable expenses for you to reference. Receipts for book and supply allowance. When you turn in your receipts, the receipts must be original. Photocopies are not acceptable. Receipts must have the following information: the vendor's name, the date of purchase, not the shipping date or arrival date, but the actual date that you purchased the item, the itemized description of the items purchased, the amount of the item, and how the item was paid for. Now, how the item was paid for must show on the receipt. Was it paid by cash, credit card, money order? What was the method of payment? All of this information must be on the receipt. If there is missing information, we will not be able to process it. If you happen to pay for an item by check, the university requires documentation to show proof the payment has been made. Proof the payment has been made is a copy of the back of your canceled check. When you submit your receipts, please tape your receipts to a one-sided 8.5 by 11 sheet of plain white paper. The reason for this is because we have to scan all of the expense report paperwork for departmental, university, and audit documentation. Any loose receipts will be returned. Please tape around the edges of the receipt and do not tape over the ink. If you tape over the ink, the tape will make the ink disappear, and the receipt will not be legible. Please also do not highlight the receipts. If receipts are not legible when we scan them, we will not be able to reimburse the items. Regarding book rentals, if you rent a book, return it, and receive a refund, CWEL cannot reimburse any refunds that you have already received. We can only reimburse the difference of what you paid less the refund. Receipts for book and supply allowance. When you turn in your receipts, the receipts must be original. We must have original receipts and not photocopies. The receipt must include the vendor's name, travel information. To be eligible for travel reimbursement, you must travel at least 26 miles one way. It must be at least 26 miles from home to school or work to school. If eligible, you must submit a MapQuest printout calculated by the shortest distance option. Please click on the circle that indicates shortest distance when you're in MapQuest. Please submit your MapQuest to the CWEL department at the beginning of your first term. You will only need to resubmit an updated MapQuest if you have any changes in your travel, like an address change or if you are taking classes at a different location. If there are no changes from the first MapQuest you submitted, then you will not need to resubmit another. Regarding parking, parking reimbursement is a maximum of $5 per day. Travel information. To be eligible for travel reimbursement, you must travel at least 26 miles one way. It must be at least 26 miles from home to school or work to school. If eligible, you must submit a MapQuest printout calculated by the shortest distance option. Please click on the circle that indicates shortest distance when you're in MapQuest. Please submit your MapQuest to the CWEL department at the beginning of your first term. You will only need to resubmit any updated MapQuest if you have an address change or change in your travel when taking classes at a different location. Entering your online expense report. This is where you need to go to enter your online expense report. You will first go to the online student information system and log in. You will then click the expense report button on the left-hand side. Please read all of the instructions and then click Next. Click Create New Expense Report and then click Next. If you're eligible for travel, you will get to this screen. Enter your travel information for each day that you travel to class. For faster entry, you can use the duplicate line button if you have multiple trips to the same location. You will then get to the book expense screen. If you have any book or supply expenses for reimbursement, this is where you will enter the information. This is where you will also see your book allowance. The system will automatically keep track of it for you. It shows how much you're eligible for, the amount you used, and your remaining balance. Your next screen will be for any tuition deposit or fee reimbursement. Please note, if your tuition deposit or fees are paid for by check, we must have proof that payment has been made. The university requires confirmation that the check is cleared. You have two options to submit proof the payment has been made. The first option is the front of your check must indicate what it is paying for. For example, On the memo line, it must indicate tuition deposit or the particular fee to show what the check was paying for. We must also receive a copy of the back of your canceled check. This proves the check has been cashed. The second option is for you to obtain a letter from your school university that you are attending. The letter must be on your university's letterhead. The letter must include your name, the description of what was paid, which is the tuition deposit or the fee, and the date when your university received the payment. Your next screen will be for any tuition deposit or fee reimbursement. Please note, if your tuition deposit or fees are paid by check, we must have proof of payment Your next screen will be for any tuition deposit or fee reimbursement. Please note, if your tuition deposit or fees are paid for by check, we must have proof the payment was made. The university requires confirmation that the check has cleared. You have two options to submit proof the payment is made. Your next screen will be for any tuition deposit or fee reimbursement. Please note, if your tuition deposit or fees are paid for by check. You will now review your expense report entry. Please carefully review all of the information that you entered. The next screen that I will be showing you will refer to the information for submitting your expense report. Please check to make sure all of your expense report information is correct one last time. You must then click Print to print a copy of your expense report signature page. This signature page must be printed out before you click the Submit button. The printout signature page must be signed and sent to the CWEL department with all of the necessary supporting documentation, like your original receipts. Even if you don't have receipts or fees to submit, you must still print the signature page out, sign your name, and turn it into the CWEL department. After you printed the signature page, then you will click the Submit button to complete your expense report. This is the screen I was just talking to you about. You will first check one last time to make sure all of your information you entered is correct. Then you will click the Print button. You will print this page out and sign it on the student signature line. After you sign the signature form, you will need to send it to the CWEL department with any supporting paperwork like your original receipts, if any. This signature page form is required. We must receive this original signed form before we can start your expense report process. After you printed the signature page, you will then click the Submit button. After you click the Submit button, it will take you to this confirmation screen. This confirmation screen confirms that you submitted your online expense report successfully. The CWEL department will receive your online expense report electronically, but it will stay in our pending table until we receive your signature page along with any supporting paperwork that goes with the expense report. When we review your expense report and possibly find discrepancies, your expense report will be put into the Needs Revision section, and you will then need to revise your expense report. You will be notified of the revisions needed, and you will have to go into the online expense report system to make the revisions. Now, when we review your expense report and possibly run into any discrepancies, your expense report will be put into a Needs Revision category section, and you will need to revise your expense report. You will be notified of the revisions needed, and you will have to go into the online expense report system to make the revisions. When we review your expense report and possibly find any discrepancies, your expense report will then be put into the Needs Revision section, and you will need to revise your expense report. You will be notified of the revisions needed, and will have to go into the online expense report system to make the revisions. When we review your expense report and possibly find any discrepancies, your expense report will be put into the Needs Revision section, and you will need to revise your expense report. You will be notified of the revisions needed, and will have to go into the online expense report system to make the revisions. You will click Update a Needs Revision Expense Report. Find the expense report that needs revision and click Select. Select the expense report that needs revision and click Select. The reason a revision is needed will be detailed under Problem Needing Attention. Click Select to begin editing the expense report. The reason a revision is needed will be detailed under Problem Needing Retention. Click Edit to make changes to a corresponding expense line. When you finish editing an expense line, click Update to save the changes. When you have finished revising all of the expense lines, then click Back. Click Edit to make changes to a corresponding expense line. When you finish editing an expense line, click Update to save the changes. When you have finished revising all of the expense lines, click Back. Double-check that you have completed all of the necessary revisions to your expense report. Then click Revisions Complete. At this screen, carefully review all of your revisions. If you made the necessary changes and your expense report is correct, click Next. Then follow the directions to submit your expense report from the previous slides. Your contacts for CWEL expense reports are Joseph DePasqua and Yvonne Ham. Please only contact one person with your question, and we will respond back to you as soon as possible. We have now concluded the CWEL webinar. Thank you for your time and have a great day. We have now concluded the CWEL webinar. Thank you for your time and have a great day.